Hello again, good evening to you. Welcome to Business. Now, government is being urged to refocus its efforts at increasing the capacity of local investors rather than prioritizing foreign direct investments. Business magnate of Ghana, Sam Jonah, believes strengthening the capacity of local investors will go a long way to boost the country's local content agenda and value addition. There's more in the following Business report.
The 69th Annual New Year School and Conference has been launched here at the University of Ghana's Great Hall. Top of the agenda as well is the creation of jobs and, of course, the boosting of private sector development to aid in job creation in the country. We shall be hearing from all the stakeholders who have said that government effort is good enough only if so much reform. Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast says Sam Jonah has criticized government over-reliance on foreign direct investment. Government through the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Government through the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC. Government through the Ghana Investment Promotion Center is targeting $10 billion of foreign direct investment by the end of 2018. But speaking at the 69th Annual New Year School and Conference at the University of Ghana, Sir Sam Jonah fears more foreign direct investments have the potential of putting the country's local content policy under jeopardy.
Dealing with contracts, getting electricity, registration of property, getting credit, trading across borders, payment of taxes, protecting minority investments, enforcement of contracts, and resolving insolvency. They are all mirrored in the issues I discussed at the beginning of this presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, all investors, regardless of nationality, share these concerns. I'm afraid that our past efforts at investment promotion have focused almost largely on attracting the elusive foreign direct investment. As desirable as the foreign direct investment is in and of itself, foreign direct investment cannot be dependent upon to transform in a meaningful and sustainable way our economy. 60 years since our independence, the Ghanaian equity ownership of this economy is insignificant.
On his part, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia assured that government's fiscal consolidation and macro stability programs will create a favorable environment for local investment in the economy.
We want to grow the economy. So we were implementing a policy of what you can describe as expansionary fiscal consolidation. That you are trying to expand the economy at the same time as you're trying to stabilize the economy. And generally, it takes some thinking because it sounds like an oxymoron that you are expanding and at the same time you are contracting.
The 69th Annual New Year School and Conference is under the theme Job Creation for Accelerated National Development, the role of the private sector. The role of the private sector, and will end on Friday, the 19th of January 2018.
The Ministry of Agriculture is collaborating with some private investors to establish poultry processing factories in the country to help cut down on importation of chicken. The move follows recent complaints by poultry farmers about the precarious nature of the sector as a result of the import of significant amounts of imported chicken. Deputy Minister of Agri, George Udro, says a number of initiatives are already underway to tackle the issue.
Reports indicate that local poultry sector has been experiencing a rather steep decline in contribution to GDP since the year 2000. The ill fortunes of the sector have been largely attributed to the importation of frozen chicken, which is affecting industry competitiveness. It is believed that Ghana currently imports about 150,000 metric tons of poultry meat yearly. A situation the Poultry Farmers Association says could sink the local poultry industry if care is not taken. But responding to the issue, Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture George Udro said his ministry is engaging 4 investors to embark on local processing of chicken.
What we are trying to do is to encourage some of the farmers to do the processing here, to do the poultry in large scale and do the processing. You need about 40,000 birds a week in order to process about 8 tons a day. So we have, as I speak to you now, I have about 4 people we are discussing They brought their business plan, we have sent it to the bank, but they haven't finished the processing. So when that is done, they are going to increase their production by the broilers and then process here. So that will help them to create jobs and then decrease the importation of the poultry products we are experiencing now. So the main idea is to cut down the importation of food into the country.
The Deputy Minister also disclosed that the ministry will improve local availability of feed with proceeds from the planting for food and jobs. This, he noted, will bring down the cost of production for poultry farmers.
Their problem is the cost of production, the feed they give to the birds. Could you believe most of the poultry farmers import beans from Brazil? I mean, it's not good. So what we have to do as a country is to encourage the farmer, like we are doing for the planting for food and jobs, to increase the production of this maize that the poultry farmers will use, and that will cut their cost of production down.
Successive governments have tried to support both the livestock sector and poultry to enable them impact meaningfully on economic development. This is, however, yet to be achieved.
And away from that, savings and loans companies say they would be engaging the Bank of Ghana over the proposed change in capital levels for the sector. This follows reports that the regulator could settle on 40 million Ghana cedis as capital requirement for microfinance companies from the current 15 million cedis. Executive Director of the Ghana Microfinance Institution Network, Yao Jemfi, tells Joy Business they are hoping to make some progress with this engagement.
This morning when I heard the news, it came as a surprise to me, and the unfortunate thing is that if that happens, that huge jump from 15 million to 40 million, then some of our people will struggle to meet that minimum capital. All this while we've been anticipating that there will be some level of increment, but we are not anticipating that it will be so astronomical, so that people can stay in business and continue to do the good things that they are doing. Again, with us as a network, usually when something of this sort comes up, Bank of Ghana usually engage us to let us know some of these things in advance. And so we are only hoping and praying that it is not what we are hearing, but rather something a little minimal.
But one would say that it was expected to even talk about even 70 million and all the rest. So looking at this period, obviously these savings and loans companies could have upped their game to ensure that whatever amount that the Bank of Ghana finally settles on, indeed they would go ahead and then implement it.
As I told you earlier on, we are anticipating it will happen, but we are not expecting something huge that will distort the whole market. But we are thinking that with some level of engagement with Bank of Ghana and possibly Ministry of Finance, we'll be able to come out with something that will work for the system.
And that's all in Joy Business Prime on that's all for business on Joy News Prime tonight. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Abuachi. Have a good evening.